Hello everyone, and welcome back to Basics Episode 8, Communication, or why comms are important, or colloquially known as comms. I want to just go over quickly how communicating in a raid can be the difference of a wipe or a success, and how you can optimize the way you use your microphone a little bit more. Hope you enjoy. Alright everyone, let's jump straight into it. The first thing I want to mention is that this is 2023. Microphones are $10 to $15. If you are still playing World of Warcraft in 2023 and don't have a microphone in this day of technology, you are doing your raid a disservice. It is almost essential in any sort of raid environment, prog, or even a farm raid, to have a microphone, and they're very cheap. I found these ones on Amazon in 30 seconds. They're $10 to $15. Go buy a microphone. Your raid leader will love you for it. Now, jumping straight into this, let's talk about communication. At first glance, it seems like a simple concept, but at the end of the day, a lot of people that play this game aren't exactly the most social. And I'm kind of an introvert. I stay home and play games a lot, and I understand what that means, but learning how to communicate within the game is essential. And I want to go over what good comms are, what I think bad comms are, and how to clear up your own comms using something that I would like to call whisper comms. So let's go over what something good is. A lot of the times you don't have to talk. I would say 95 to 98% of the time you're not going to have to speak during a raid. And for most of you, that's music to your ears. For some of you, you can't help but talking, and that's great. I love being able to chat during raid and seamlessly go through the content, just enjoy ourselves and just mess around and get to the end and everybody's happy and it's a great raid. But when should you be using microphone? When do you have to? There are a few moments, especially within some raids like Old War and beyond Old War, where you're going to have to talk. And there are moments like when, one in particular that always comes to mind is when Rune of Death is about to happen. During Iron Council, this rune just spawns on the ground. It could be on top of the power rune, and it can hinder the raid's progression in the fight. So sometimes the raid leader is so caught up in tanking or looking at Rune of Power cooldown or something else that this might slip their mind. So I would go into the comms and say Rune of Death in 5 seconds or something to that regard, because there's little mechanics that if you notice that they're forgotten about or you think they're important, just say blank in 5 seconds, or this is coming, blank is coming. And I guarantee they'll appreciate that. And even if you overlap a little bit, it's better somebody says it than it doesn't get said and you wipe. There's always a trade-off there, and that's a good comm. If you get a mechanic, then you need to move, or you see someone not about to see a mechanic behind them. For example, Nimron, like a frost bomb's behind them. You can call someone out. You can say, blank frost bomb behind you, move, or something to that regard. And knowing when to like cue your mic outside of being the raid leader or doing a specific mechanic like Algalon stars will be essential to any raid success, or it'll just enhance a raid's experience for everybody, because the less wipes, the better. And some people like when people talk, other people like really quiet raids, and each raid environment is its unique ecosystem, and I understand that, but it is important to be able to know how to use your mic and when to use your mic. Now, let's go into bad communication. I think that bad communication is anything that kind of clogs the comms that's not really necessary. In my experience, one of my pet peeves is when people call things on the ground. For example, Cosmic Smashes. When people tell me to move for Cosmic Smash, I'm just like, I have 16 weak ores that are telling me to move from Cosmic Smash. Like, I understand that. What if something else is happening? Like, a star's about to explode and I need to pop a defensive and it overlaps. I don't know. I can't hear because someone's telling me to look for a Cosmic Smash. And maybe some people need that. That's my pet peeve. That's fine. I deal with it. I move on from it. But a bad comm is anything that is not something that needs to be called out, not something really important to the fight, that people are just talking to talk. And it doesn't happen that often or that frequently. or some raid leaders that I've experienced with. I've done some really ratchet 25-man normal old wars, and I've heard some horrible comms where the raid leader doesn't really know what they're doing. That's another form of bad comms, is someone pretending to know what they're doing and leading you to disaster, and that's horrible. But beyond that, it's just anything that is not exactly necessary for the raid, and someone's just talking because they think it's important or because they think it's right. And sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. It's really it's in the eye of the beholder, and that's a-okay. Now, moving on to the last thing I wanted to cover, that would be, how can you improve comms? And it's very simple. There are a lot of things that people call for, like externals, innervate, power infusion, etc., that you can turn into whisper comms. Now, what are whisper comms? Just make any macro /w, the player's name, and PI, bop, innervate. That'll help clear up comms. And it really helps when you're in an Algalon and the healer's running out of mana and they're like, oh, can you innervate Blink? And they don't know who to innervate. They don't know. Oh, they could be talking over the raid lead or something else. And it just helps clear his comms a little bit. But at the end of the day, there should only be 3, maybe 4 people max talking during the raid, outside of people doing special mechanics, and make it a smooth sailing. Or if you guys are super comfortable with the raid and you're just like hanging out, talking trash during the trash, that's also a really fun raid environment as well. But that's about it for comms. I think this is an important subject. It's a pet peeve of mine, and I hope you learned a little bit of something and start to utilize whisper comms, either get a microphone or clean up the way that your communication is being used. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of episode 8. I was kind of slow to get this one out. I had a really busy weekend and I wasn't feeling too great on Monday and Tuesday, and I wasn't really around Saturday or Sunday, so I hope this makes up for it a little bit. I hope I can catch you in episode 9, coming to you next week, where we're going to talk about everything related to macros, every macro in existence. I want to appreciate the support for the series so far. I hope if you like what you saw, you can subscribe, drop a comment, help that YouTube algorithm a little bit. Really appreciate that. And after the basic series is done, because this is the last episode I have planned right now, unless inspiration strikes down the road, I will be going into Warlock Phase 3 Bis and some other interesting ideas that I have coming up, like top 3 reasons why Warlocks are doing as much damage as they possibly could, etc. And I hope that's something you guys would appreciate. Well, I'll catch you next time. Peace.